The second piece I want to talk about is the nature of like complex work. That we are looking for people on our teams who are both skilled and who care. They care about work, they care about each other, they also have the skills to do the job. If someone has no skill, no care, I'm not going to allow them on my team, right? If someone has a lot of care but not much skill, I might feel a little sorry for them. I might even mentor them. I might even be like, let me teach you some skills. Let me level you up. Let me make you a good team member. But I'm not going to kick them out necessarily unless, I have budget cuts and then I might have to get rid of some folks, right? But what's interesting is that when somebody has skill but not care, or power and authority but not care, it's another way of saying skill or capability, we tend to fear that person. And fear, as we all know, causes a very marked cognitive downshift in all of us. It causes us to actually shift down and become stupider. We make mistakes when we're afraid. What happens when we have both care and skill present in somebody is these are people that we trust. These are people that we extend trust to. And for the past 100,000 years or 200,000 years that Homo sapiens have been on the planet, knowing who to trust and who not to trust has been a life or death decision for yourself and your descendants. It's been life or death. And so our brains have learned to ask these questions unconsciously in a very specific order. We ask first, does the person care? We ask second, does the person have skill and can the person deliver? So our first question is, does the person care? So if you're a leader and you sense people aren't trusting you, try demonstrating a little more care rather than more authority or better ideas. This is a mistake, by the way, that I've made many, many, many times in my career, because you may be driving trust in the wrong direction. So we want to build teams that are psychologically safe and that are based on trust. So briefly, from an IQ perspective, and by the way, I would say I spend 70 to 80% of my time on this side of things, on the IQ side of things, because often the EQ side of things is driven by dysfunction on the IQ side. So we want a diverse group of people who are able to work together. We want to have a clear mission, a clear set of measures on the team and how they're defined. We want to have good practices and tools so we are able to share information. Likewise, we want to generate an emotional environment that is psychologically safe, that's trusting, and that is able to move beyond conflict, to experience conflict but move beyond it, and have a shared commitment and move forward in a decisive way. This is what makes a good team over time. And it doesn't happen all at once. So if you're going to build a great leadership team, one, assemble a diverse cast of characters. Get the skills and perspectives in the room that you need. Two, get the basics right. Again, this is where I spend a lot of my time. Mission and measures, roles and responsibilities, processes and tools. Sometimes it's all you have to do is take an hour, take 2 hours, and just get clear about this stuff, because often people have assumptions and we just haven't been clear. Three, build psychological safety and trust. This means establishing good behavioral norms, get to know each other on a personal level. You don't have to be friends, but you do have to know each other. You do have to have at least some awareness, what FBI negotiator Chris Voss calls tactical empathy, right? We don't necessarily need to agree with everything, but we need to understand where people are coming from. And we also need to demonstrate respect for each other, I believe. And then finally, we need to protect and maintain. Leadership teams often don't do a lot of work shared together, so we need to invent that work, and that work is generally strategy work. So a lot of my work is also leading strategy workshops for leadership teams and helping them collaborate together and actually produce output together, really working well together. They also need to retrospect, which means to reflect on how they're doing and how they can get better moving forward. And last, this is probably my favorite bit, is let's eliminate the jerks. Even if they're brilliant, if they are causing disruption inside of the organization, they're simply not worth it. If they have a lot of skill, that's great, but if they don't have that care component, if they're not able to put themselves aside and have a little bit of humility, they're going to be disruptive to your organization, perhaps fatally so.